I was following one of the dancers who is based in Berlin. His name is Valentin Chin. I don't know if I pronounce it correct, the name. And I admire his work. And then I saw that he posted who is interested to do some live drawing sessions. And I was, yes, I'm interested. First of all, I'm not doing realistic portraits. I don't see it like this. I think the difference is the distance between stillness and movement. It's like I'm trying to trace the process of movement as a primitive expression of existence. Like every movement is a different story. It's when you try to capture a moving image, it's like a never-ending story because the possibilities are unlimited. It was challenging because, first of all, every dancer was a different challenge because every dancer has its own movement, and the movement of each dancer is forced by their own instinct. And how to capture this, that was the challenging part. For example, I could start drawing when the dancer was in position A, and before my drawing was done, the dancer would be in position B, so the result would be a mix of the two positions, A and B. It creates a completely different creature. And I think we all have a different perception of reality. And for example, what I see when I see a dancer's movement is like I'm watching an organic creature moving as a tree or a plant, as a tree or a plant would move naturally. And it's like as if I'm watching a tree moved by a strong wind. And the tree looks like it's dancing without control, just forced to do its own free choreography. And then it's also the honest emotion of every face or body that is expressed physically. And that's also an interesting part that is nice to capture, like every different muscle and movement and expression and feeling. I don't know if this makes sense to the question, but it's about how I perceive it as something organic that is forced by nature to move very naturally. Every time I draw, it's practice. Every time it's a different experiment, because I like to experiment with many different mediums. So every time is a new practice, and you never know, a new skill, you develop a new skill that you didn't have before, and oh, I've never done this. Especially when you draw something while it's moving. I see those sketches as studies or ideas for more projects. Like I have ideas, as I said before. Some of them I would like to do one big with maybe different mediums, or maybe use a digital animation, ink and paper. So it's fast. Because I started drawing with markers or ink, that was my easy way, my fast way to express myself creatively. I like to see the paper absorbing the ink also. I like this process of just something white becomes black. I like to do sketches. I like to do line work. I like dot work. I like shading, but shading not in the traditional ways that it has to be like this. First of all, I don't have academic education. I'm self-taught. What I do is what I know since I was a child, and I do it because I like it, and it's a way of expressing myself. It's both practice and both finished a piece of art. Every piece of creation is a piece of art, even if it's done by a 3-year-old child. Every dancer has its own style or its own way of expressing. But this is something I admire because it's so individualistic. Like it's a honest, natural movement and emotion. So I wouldn't say I like this more than that, because everyone it has their own story to say. So for me, it's everything is interesting. Every story is something, has to say something. And also it gave me the opportunity to discover so many artists that I didn't know, and I really admire and like their work. It's like even if we see the same object, what I see or what you see is something completely different. Every drawing or painting I do, it's like a never finished. I think I could always go back and add something more. I'm always in this dilemma. I was like, now is it finished, or should I add something more? Every time it's the same thing. But in this particular project, I choose to do some very fast drawings, sketches more, I would say, not so focused in the detail, but more to the intents of the moment. And if I want to do a detail, if I see something that captures my eye as a detail, I try to do it separately, like an arm or a leg, or a combination of both of them. Like you don't know if it's an arm or a leg or a face or a body. What is this? I don't know. I think I like to leave them as they are at the moment I'm doing them, because I like just to capture the raw intensity of the moment, of the movement. There's many possibilities. That's the cool thing about this project, that it's so many possibilities, and that's really inspiring. The fact that it's online, it's amazing, because as I said, it gives the opportunity to connect with so many different artists and from different parts of the world, and discover new artists, and also see how the other painters perceive the same thing but in their own different way. Like I also see so many amazing drawings from other artists, and that's connecting is the best, especially nowadays that people tend to be more isolated, unfortunately. And the most important for me is that this project, that it's online, is encouraging creativity, which is overly inspiring for me. And I wish every human to find their own way to express themselves creatively. Even if you're not an artist, just express yourself in a creative way will only uplift you. I want to say also thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate in this project.